Hello, I'm Collin Floyd, process engineer at Gibbs Die Casting, and today we're going over session 5 of the JA Career Success modules. So, last session we focused on soft skills in the workplace and interview tips. This session we're going to be examining another side of the journey to career success, and that's knowing your personal priorities so you can find jobs you can commit to and succeed in. Super important. So, work priorities. Your generation is predicted to work for a greater number of companies in a higher number of different jobs than the generations before you. With that kind of turnover, it's essential for you to evaluate what's most important to you in the work environment, or the work environment that you're going to possibly be applying for. So, speaking on possible jobs that you're going to have, my work environment. When I was in school, I had an idea of what I was going to be able to do and what I wouldn't be able to do. Personally, I did a lot of sports. I played football, so I spent a lot of time outside. So the idea of doing industrial work or working in a manufacturing facility wasn't very foreign to me. It wasn't one of those things that was going to bother me, but I've always had like an aversion to water. I'm not a huge swimmer and stuff like that. So the idea of me going to work in a place like a barge or working on the water was anything that was ever going to really appeal to me very greatly. So I knew those weren't things that I was going to aim at. So my very first job out of high school was actually at Amazon, which was in a manufacturing facility in Lexington, and it was a lot of running around and doing a lot of work as far as like picking books and picking up stuff using industrial equipment and things like that. So that kind of worked in my favor. When I started my job at Gibbs forever ago, at this point it feels like, it was a lot of hot work. Gibbs is a warm facility. We do a lot of car parts. It can be dirty. It can be kind of messy at times. It can be hot in the summers and cold in the winters. These are things that I need to have in mind as far as my success is concerned. If I didn't like getting hot and dirty or cold in the winter, I wasn't going to last very long there, and I was aware of that. But I went in knowing that those things wouldn't bother me that much, and I've been there 17 years now, so it's kind of worked in my favor. Even though I don't deal with heat as much as I used to as an engineer, it was something that I need to be aware of the front half of my career. So when you go to get a job, you need to think of things that you enjoy doing and how you will be a good fit or not a good fit in places that you decide to apply it. So, for instance, if you don't like getting up super early, it probably wouldn't be in your best interest to get a job that requires you to be at work at 7 in the morning all the time. That was kind of the case for me. When I first started at Gibbs, I worked on second shift because I was not a morning person. And second shift out there ran from, I want to say, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Back then. So that was ideal for me. I could stay up at night and game as much as I wanted to, sleep in, and then not have to worry about going to work until later in the afternoon. So, awesome. So, why do you need to prioritize? Once you've established your work priorities, use them as an anchor for planning what kind of job you want and what education and training are needed for those jobs. Basically where you want to go and what you want to do here in the future, very soon for you actually. So why prioritize? Employers also want you to take time to establish your priorities. Businesses spend time and money to recruit and train employees. That investment is lost, and an employee ends up not liking some aspect of the job and quits. So just for instance, we talk about onboarding and you getting a new job. So right now, it may not seem like it, but bringing a new person on costs a lot of money to a company. Just using Gibbs as an example, onboarding and bringing somebody on that's brand new can cost up to $4,000. So what's some of those costs for each person that we bring on? Setting up their benefits, having the people that go in and put in for this person's hiring on to the system, and then spending time with that person, going over the benefits and everything that's required, and then teaching that person how to do the job safely and correctly, all takes manpower hours, and those translate into money for the company. And if that person turns around and quits because the job was too hot, or the hours didn't work, or it was just a poor fit after a couple of weeks, that's a lot of money down the drain that the company can't get back. So being able to prioritize and understand that the job that you're going to come on at is a good job for you is super important as far as your career is concerned. All right. So we're going to go over some scenarios. All right. So one of the first decisions about career should be where you want to live. If you want to stay in the city or community that you're currently in, you want to look at what availability there is around you. So examine what careers are available there. All right. So what would you do in these situations? Student A wants to work in the film industry. Should their priority be to work in a small town or a big city? Think about that. So just to my knowledge, there's not a whole lot of film industry here in Henderson. So in all likelihood, if you wanted to be in the film industry, you're going to have to consider moving to somewhere where that's a lot more prevalent. In a lot of cases, that means moving out west or moving to the East Coast. So if you like it here and you like a smaller city, wanting to do film probably isn't a good idea for you. You might want to pick something else. All right. So student B hates being outside when it's hot. Should the student plan for a career in the construction industry? Why or why not? I would say no. If you don't like being outside when it's hot, because most of the people I know that do construction have to work when it's hot outside, have to work when it's cold outside, and you don't have a whole lot of control over that. Even when it's wet or super dry outside, you have to be working around the elements. So if there's a certain element that you don't like, you can't just choose not to work during the summer. You have to continue to put food on the table. So if you hate being outside, working in the construction industry isn't a good idea. So don't do that. Another, what would you do? Student C. Student's worst subject is math. Should that student become an accountant? Why or why not? And my guess, definitely not. I'm actually kind of okay with math, and I don't think I should be an accountant. So, much less the student here. But who knows? Maybe they like a good challenge, and they can learn how to do math and learn to do math well. I'm sure everybody knows how to do math, but to be an accountant and keep books correct and make sure your decimal's in the right place and the money's going where it's supposed to be and the money's right, you need to know your math, you need to know it well, and you have to be pretty confident in that. So if your worst subject is math, there's a 90% chance that you shouldn't be an accountant. Just being truthful. So student D. Student D does not like to fly. Should the student plan for a career that requires a lot of travel? Why or why not? These are a lot of no-brainers. If you don't like traveling, if you don't like flying, you probably shouldn't work in a career that has a lot of travel. You probably shouldn't be a stewardess if you don't like flying, Even my job, there's a point in which I did a lot of traveling and going to one place or another. But on my hand, I do like traveling. So, when I got to do that, I felt like the job was a lot more fun. I got to do a lot more with it. So, that really worked out in my favor. And I guess being a process engineer, it's been good that I am good with math and I'm really good with computers, and I kind of like being hands-on and doing a lot of problem solving. Those are things that I enjoy doing, which is why being a process engineer has been a good fit for me. So when you're taking inventory on the things that you like doing and what you might enjoy doing for a career, make sure that those two paths coincide with each other. All right. So in review, knowing your work priorities is important as you make choices that will affect your future. In the next session, we're going to explore some factors considered when researching careers, skills, interest, and the job outlook in high growth industries are things that we're going to be looking at. But next, we have the session 5 activity. You're going to complete an activity to help you understand your work priorities. So until next time, bye.